Before becoming a perennial winner in NASCAR, Denny Hamlin started honing his racecraft at local short tracks in Virginia, working his way up from go-karts to late models. But how did Denny go from his local short track to the NASCAR Cup Series?
I was at the end of, our funding. As my parents had very normal jobs. My mom worked at AAA Travel, my dad worked at Great Dane Trailers, and their wallet could only take me so far. And unfortunately, this is kind of a sport where you do need some funding to keep going. You can't just buy your bat and your ball and your pads and you're good for the season. There's a lot that goes into it. And so they carried me as far as I could, but ultimately I was, at the end of my career in racing. I was going to go work at my dad's trailer shop, and I went to the sign-in line at South Boston. I'll never forget, for my final race, someone asked me if I was going to the Myrtle Beach the following weekend for the big race, and I said no, that this would be it. We're going to sell all of our stuff. I'm going to go work at my dad's trailer shop, and I was happy with that. I thought that my parents did all they could to keep me going. There was a person 3 or 4 behind me that happened to hear that story and approached us and said that he wanted to pay for me to go to the last race. Because he said, if we win next week and you're not there, we didn't beat the best. And so I'll pay for you to go to this final race. And he had the best of the best equipment. I went out there and I dominated, ran well. It was a moment where he says, why don't you just drive for me next year? He told me to tell my parents to sell everything, get reimbursed, some of the money that they've sunk into my career. And that year I won 25 out of 35 races in the short track ranks. That caught the eye of Curtis Markham at Joe Gibbs Racing. Joe Gibbs and Reggie White were starting a diversity team, and so they knew they had to buy late model equipment, and they didn't want to buy all new stuff, so they went to this top premier team that I was driving for and said, we'll buy all of your equipment.
JD said to Denny, I've heard a lot about you, Denny. He said, I'll get you in a test if I can. We got Denny there at the test and he killed it. So then JD said to me, hey, Dad, maybe we should put him in a truck. Well, the truck wasn't a real good truck. And I think he finished like 10th or 11th. And so JD said, well, let's put him at Darlington, our hardest racetrack, in an Xfinity car. We did that, and I think he finished 8th. And so JD said, I think we need to sign this guy. And so we did.